There's a box in your closet. You haven't opened it in 3 years. You don't even remember what's inside, but the thought of throwing it away makes your chest tight. Or that t-shirt from college. It doesn't fit. You'll never wear it again. But you can't get rid of it. Or those birthday cards from 2015. Old concert tickets, broken headphones you'll fix someday. You're not a hoarder. Your house isn't buried in trash. But you can't throw things away, and there's a psychological reason why that has nothing to do with being messy. Look, we need to be clear about something. This video isn't about hoarding disorder. That's a clinical condition. That's different. This is about normal people who just struggle to let go of things. Your apartment is clean, your space is functional, but your drawers are full of stuff you don't use. Your closet has clothes you haven't worn in years. Your garage has boxes you haven't touched since you moved in. And every time you think about throwing something away, your brain hits the brakes. But what if I need it someday? But this has memories attached to it. But someone gave this to me. But I paid good money for this. And so it stays, taking up space, collecting dust, weighing on your mind. Today we're diving deep into why your brain refuses to let go of things, what childhood experiences programmed this behavior, the emotional cost of keeping everything, and most importantly, how to break free without feeling like you're losing a part of yourself. Stick around, because at the end, we'll reveal the one question that makes letting go psychologically easier. Let's get into it. Here's the first truth. If you can't throw things away, you probably grew up with scarcity. Maybe not extreme poverty, but enough that your brain learned resources are limited, things are hard to replace, don't waste anything. So you developed a scarcity mindset. And even now, when you're financially stable, your brain still operates like resources are scarce. That t-shirt you'll never wear? Your brain says, but what if all your other shirts get ruined and you need this one? Those old cables that don't fit any current devices. What if you need them someday? That kitchen gadget you've never used. What if there's an emergency where I specifically need a melon baller? This isn't logical, it's emotional, and it comes from a time when throwing something away meant you might not be able to get it back. When money was tight, when making do was survival. Psychologists call this resource anxiety. Even when you have enough now, your brain is still protecting against future scarcity that may never come. And here's what makes this powerful. This isn't just about objects, it's about control. When you grew up with scarcity, you couldn't control what you had. Things were taken away, needs went unmet. You didn't get choices, so now, as an adult, keeping everything is your way of saying, nobody can take this from me. I decide what stays and what goes. It's not about the object. It's about autonomy. Now let's talk about the most painful reason people can't throw things away, emotional attachment. That concert ticket isn't just paper, it's the night you fell in love with your partner. That broken watch isn't just junk, it belonged to your grandfather. That birthday card isn't just cardboard. It's proof someone cared about you, and your brain has fused the object with the memory. So throwing away the object feels like throwing away the memory itself. But here's the truth that hurts. The memory isn't in the object, it's in you. That concert happened whether you keep the ticket or not. Your grandfather's love exists whether you keep the watch or not. That person cared about you whether you keep the card or not. But your brain doesn't believe this. Because somewhere along the way you learned that love is conditional, that people leave, that proof matters. So you hold on to physical evidence. Because if you don't have proof, maybe it wasn't real. This is especially true for people who experienced loss, abandonment, or invalidation in childhood. If your feelings were dismissed, if your experiences were questioned, if people important to you disappeared without warning, then physical objects became your proof. I'm not making this up. Look, I have the ticket, this happened, I was there, I mattered. And throwing it away feels like erasing your own existence. This is why people keep every birthday card, every letter, every gift. Not because they're sentimental, because they're collecting evidence that they were loved. Let's talk about money, because this is a huge reason people can't throw things away. You bought those expensive jeans 5 years ago. They don't fit anymore, but you spent $150 on them. You got that kitchen appliance as a wedding gift. You've used it twice, but it cost $200. You bought that book with every intention of reading it. You never did, but it was $30, and your brain says, if I throw this away, I'm wasting money, so I have to keep it. This is called the sunk cost fallacy. You're letting past spending dictate current decisions. But here's the reality, the money is already gone. Whether you keep the item or throw it away, you're not getting that money back. Keeping something you don't use doesn't make the purchase less wasteful. It just means you're storing regret. And here's the deeper psychology. Keeping these items isn't about the money. It's about avoiding the feeling of having made a mistake. Because if you throw it away, you have to admit, I wasted money on this. I made a bad decision. And for people who struggle with perfectionism or who were criticized growing up, admitting mistakes feels unbearable. So you keep the evidence of bad decisions rather than face the discomfort of acknowledging them. But every time you see that unused item, you feel guilt, shame, regret. You're not avoiding the feeling. You're prolonging it. Now let's address the most common excuse. But I might need it someday. Those craft supplies for the project you'll start when you have time. Those clothes you'll fit into when you lose weight. Those books you'll read when life calms down. That bread maker you'll use when you start baking. Someday, eventually, one day. But here's the hard truth. Someday is a psychological safety net that never catches you, because someday isn't real. It's a fantasy version of yourself that doesn't exist. Fantasy you has time, motivation, and different priorities. Fantasy you is organized, creative, and follows through. But real you doesn't bake bread. Real you doesn't do elaborate craft projects. Real you doesn't read self-help books, and that's okay. But keeping items for fantasy you means real you is living in a space cluttered with someone else's life. Here's what's really happening. You're keeping these items because throwing them away means admitting who you actually are instead of who you wish you were. And that's a hard pill to swallow. Throwing away the sewing machine means admitting, I'm not a person who sews. Throwing away the guitar means admitting, I'm not a musician. Throwing away the workout equipment means admitting, I don't work out at home. It's not about the object. It's about identity. Let's talk about gifts, because this is where emotional manipulation meets clutter. Someone gave you something. You hate it. You've never used it. But you can't throw it away because they gave it to me. And if you throw it away, you're rejecting their love. You're being ungrateful. You're a bad person. Except here's the truth. A gift is not a contract. Once someone gives you something, it's yours to do with as you please. You don't owe them eternal storage space for their choice. And if the only reason you're keeping something is guilt, that's not love, that's obligation. Real love doesn't require you to keep physical objects as proof. Real love doesn't come with conditions. But many people grew up in families where gifts came with strings attached, where throwing away a gift meant hurting someone's feelings, where your possessions were monitored and judged. So now, as an adult, getting rid of a gift feels like betrayal. But here's what you need to understand. Keeping something out of guilt isn't honoring the gift. It's resenting it. Every time you see that object, you don't think, oh, how thoughtful. You think, ugh, I can't get rid of this. That's not gratitude. That's burden. Now let's talk about what this habit actually costs. You, physical space, obviously, but more than that, mental space. Every item you own takes up brain bandwidth. Where is it? Do I still have it? Should I move it? What if I need it? Emotional energy. Guilt over not using things. Shame over wasting money. Anxiety about letting go. Decision fatigue. Every time you consider throwing something away, you have a mental battle. That's exhausting. And here's the hidden cost. These objects are keeping you stuck in the past. That box of college stuff? You're holding on to who you used to be. Those clothes that don't fit. You're holding on to a body you used to have. Those gifts from people you don't talk to anymore. You're holding on to relationships that no longer exist. You can't move forward because you're literally surrounded by the past. Okay, here's the breakthrough. The one question that makes letting go easier. Not, might I need this someday? Because the answer is always maybe. Not, does this have memories? Because everything has memories. Not, did this cost money? Because everything costs money. The question is, does this object serve the life I'm living right now? Not the life you wish you had. Not the life you used to have. The life you're actually living. If the answer is no, it doesn't belong in your space. Because your home should reflect who you are now, not who you were or who you think you should be. And when you let go of things that don't serve you, you make room for things that do. So here's what we learned. If you can't throw things away, it's probably because of scarcity mindset, emotional attachment to memories, sunk cost fallacy, someday delusions, gift obligation, or fear of facing who you actually are. But keeping everything has a cost: space, energy, and freedom. The way forward isn't to become a minimalist overnight. It's to start asking, does this serve my life right now? If this resonated with you, drop a comment. What's the one thing you can't throw away and why? Hit that like button and subscribe for more psychology that explains why we do what we do. Remember, letting go of objects doesn't mean letting go of memories, love, or your past. It means making room for your present.